Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. I hope you're having a great day. I am Hannah, the paperback bruncher. Everyone, welcome to the reading sprints. Today we are doing for the Diverse Baseline Reading Challenge. And I have a lot of lovely hosts and co-hosts, or as I would just say friends, joining us today that are other creators. And I'm going to let them, of course, intro themselves. So I'm going to pop some friends on screen. Make sure to look at their names on their little bubbles. Make sure you're following them on their social medias. And we're going to talk about what we're reading today and all of that good stuff. All right, let's add in our friends. More friends will be joining too. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. I know we're in all like different corners of the world. So good day, good night. So of course we're here for the Diverse Baseline Reading Challenge. Margherita is one of our lovely hosts and creators of this challenge. Brittany will be joining us as well. I think that we should just start with kind of like a little bit of an intro for people who are finding the challenge for the first time. I know I just found it last month, so I am playing a little bit of catch up myself, but we can kind of explain what the challenge is for those that are finding it and how they can join in and participate. And then we'll share what we're reading before we get started. Margherita, do you want to kick us off or do you want some help with that?
I don't know if you wanted to wait for Brittany first.
I'm not sure what time she's joining. Hi, Nia. Welcome.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, you sound great.
Cool.
I think we can get started just for the sake of time, and then we'll have her do her own intro and add in any bonus info when she gets here.
So the Diverse Baseline Challenge is a reading challenge focused on reading books by non-white authors and mixed race authors, so that we make sure that we highlight their voices and their books. Basically, you have to read a minimum of 3 books per month. Each book has to fit a prompt. Some people are doing them a little bit not in order. So we have people doing prompts from other months, but that's fine. As long as you read the book, it's fine the order. And I don't know what to say.
That's okay. No, you're doing great. You guys started this challenge in January, right? To go for the whole year?
Yes.
Okay.
It lasts for the whole year, and hopefully we can do it in the next years as well.
Awesome. It's mostly, I would say, an Instagram-based reading challenge. That's kind of like where you guys are online the most, right?
Because it's easier to get more reach on Instagram, at least in our accounts. We tried to post it on TikTok as well, but the algorithm of TikTok works in a different way, and it's a little bit harder to reach people.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not as easy over there for sure. So anyone who's participating, feel free to use the hashtag, the Diverse Baseline. And we have our other co-host and creator, Brittany, hey, and Meg joining too. It's a party. I feel like we look like Brady Bunch now with like our little squares. So cool. Brittany, do you have anything else you want to add about the challenge, kind of explaining how it works? We just kind of gave a quick little overview, but maybe if you want to share how people can participate once they know what it is.
Thank y'all for bearing with me. I'm perpetually late. So for anyone who's new to me, that's just Brittany lore. So thank you. And yes, thank you, Margherita, for explaining a little bit more. I guess we do have the Storygraph Challenge, which has over, I think, like 4,000 books added to it. So my only thing is that once people join, if they could just, even if they see a book under a Storygraph prompt, like making sure to do your own research on the authors, making sure they fit in the prompt, because there are some books that do fit like a disabled author, but they're not an author who is like non-white or mixed race. And it's hard. Like we reached out to Storygraph and they right now don't give us the capability to like take the book out from the prompt. but it does hide it for future folks who are joining in. But whoever chose that, it's already like chosen for them. So that's kind of like a hard part of StoryGraph right now, but just asking everyone to kind of like get into practice of, you know, looking up your authors, Googling them, looking them up on TikTok, whatever, like seeing if your friends have read books from them. So trying to like get into that practice, I feel like is something that is good for any challenge, not just ours. So.
Mm-hmm. Also, all of those links are in the video description. So if anyone's looking for any of those, but of course, Brittany and Margherita both have them like on their Instagrams pinned everywhere. I think you guys both have like highlights and pinned posts, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you for creating this challenge. It is so important. And I'm just so glad that, you know, we have readers like you guys that are out here championing BIPOC authors and creating these challenges. Because obviously you guys saw a lack of representation when you were looking through reading challenges. I think you guys said it was, what's it called? Like, I don't want to say inspired. That feels like a bad word to use. But for lack of a better word in the moment, but inspired by the lack of diversity in the Goodreads challenge and how people were reacting and creating their own challenges. So that was kind of somewhat of where it was born, right?
Yeah, we also modeled it after like 23 for 23. I don't know if I know a lot of people on the call are familiar with that, but I went to a like BIPOC happy hour soiree at Steamy Lit Con last August, and it was hosted by Adriana Herrera, Nisha Sharma, and someone help me. Who else?
I don't know. I was there.
I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, my brain just totally messed up.
Did you say
anyway,
Nikki Payne?
Nikki Payne, thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. I'm so sorry, Nikki. Please forgive me. Anyway, so they had that, and the whole idea of that initiative was to get people to read 23 books with BIPOC main characters by BIPOC authors by the end of 2023, and that had started in August. So that was kind of like a bit of inspiration. Like we modeled it a little bit after that, and then obviously the Goodreads awards came out, and we know that that is like from readers, right? Like readers are choosing those. And our point was that if you let yourself be led by like, you know, celebrity book club lists and just Barnes and Noble featured tables, then you're probably going to end up reading mostly cishet, non-disabled books and white books. So like just that's why we called it the baseline, because we want it to be kind of like, this is not comprehensive of everything you should be thinking about, but it's a good starter for folks who maybe this is like introductory and like they're just not diversifying across like genre and identity as much. And then like, you know, we've seen a lot of I guess like discourse in publishing. Like there's, you know, the St. Martin's Press boycott going on with like, we see a lot of racism in publishing across social media. So we're trying to like make sure that we can like uplift and marginalize voices that maybe are like just not as heard in these spaces. So we're literally just one little challenge, but hopefully, and like there's so many other challenges. Like that's the great thing is like, if our challenge doesn't feel feasible or accessible to someone, like there's so many others you can look through on StoryGraph, on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever it may be. We just want people to be like thinking about this stuff.
Absolutely. So cool. Thank you. Thank you. It's interesting to hear, like, I think a lot of us like have these same feelings and approach it in different ways. So it's cool to see like where the thoughts stem from and how you guys handled the situation. Because I think I personally find it really inspiring. I'm like, oh, like we can just do that. Like we're readers, we have power, we can create these challenges. Or like in my case, I was like, okay, well, I don't need to create another challenge. This challenge already exists. I'm just going to join and I'm going to make you guys come hang out with me so I can get to talk to you and like hear about it and read with you. So I think this is super cool. I'm just excited that you guys are all here. I'm literally meeting all of these people except for Reese for the first time. So this is like really exciting for me to get to know so many new people and reconnect with Reese. So thank you all for being here. Like I said, I'm just like super hyped. Like I'm just like my cheeks hurt actually. I was like, I feel like at the end of the Barbie movie when she's like, can I go now? My cheeks are hurting. I always do this. So now that we kind of have a baseline, pun intended, of what the challenge is about as well. Like I said, all those links are down below. So if you want any refreshers or just like more detailed information, it's there. Please make sure to go and follow the hosts. They're always like posting more about it and like clarifying things if things are confusing, but they're also just lovely people. So if you have questions and you don't find them anywhere, I'm sure they're happy to answer any questions that you may have. And they also have a newsletter. So that's linked down below as well. And personally, I'm like, okay, I know we all hate emails. Emails are annoying, but at the end of the day, this is the perfect kind of email newsletter to subscribe to because it's a little reminder in your inbox. And when it's something that's an annual reading challenge, we kind of need those reminders to check in because I know sometimes like I'm just not reading or I'm not doing this or that, and life happens to all of us. So perfect thing to subscribe to. And that's enough of me blabbing. Let's talk about what we're going to read today because we're going to start 20 minutes after the hour, after getting to know each other a little bit and talking about what we're reading. Who wants to kick us off? Let's do a little bit of kind of like an intro when you unmute. Say like who you are, what your handle is, kind of where you post. And if you want to share like a little bit about like what you like to read as a reader, maybe you have a book club, any of that is fair game. And then share what you're going to read today. How about our host kick us off? Margherita or Brittany?
Sure, I can go. Hello, I'm Brittany. My pronouns are she, her. I'm bookish.millennial on Instagram, bookishmillennial on TikTok, but like I don't even know her lately, so it's fine. You can just follow me on TikTok or on Instagram. If you look at my story graph, I'm kind of embarrassed. I read so much at the same time because I'm like a mood reader and it's my toxic trait. But today I'm going to read Head Above Water by Shad Al-Shamari. It's for the disability prompt in our April prompts. And yeah, it's a memoir. I'm only a little bit into it, but she is Kuwaiti Palestinian. So I'm excited to like read more of it. And it's a pretty short book. It's like less than 200 pages, I think. So yeah.
Hi. My pronouns are they, them, but I also use ze, them if some people like neopronouns. Today I will be reading Love from A to Z, to Z, which is also for the prompt of the chronic illness and pain. And it's YA contemporary romance, if I'm not wrong. I still have to start it, so I'm not sure. And I'm also currently reading White Tears, Brown Scars for the Swana author prompt. But yes, that one. But this one is nonfiction, and I will read it another time because in nonfiction needs a type of focus that I will probably not be able to achieve while here because of my anxiety. But it's a pretty good book that everyone should read.
Awesome. Cool. Sarah, do you want to jump in? Sorry, you're muted. I like muted everyone because of background noise.
My go-to is to like sign when people can't hear me. I knew I was muted. I just couldn't figure out how to unmute. Or when I have food in my mouth, my go-to is to sign. I haven't decided which book I'm going to read yet. I'm 14 chapters into. Oh, I'm Sarah. My pronouns are they, them. Sarah in Wonderland on Instagram. I don't have a TikTok because I'm old. And I read a lot of monster alien romance, but my main thing is Sapphic Sundays. I read a lot of Sapphic romance. I promote a lot of Sapphic romance. And like I'm really pushing into inclusive reading in Sapphic romance. So like we're not just reading the like cis white Sapphics. We're making sure to push out. And in May, I'll be interviewing Deanna Gray from who wrote Outdrawn. And in June, I will be interviewing Tamara Jury. And I cannot remember the name of their new book because I haven't read it yet. It comes out, I think, on the 16th. But that is what happens a lot on my page. I'm 14 chapters into The Alien's Seduction by Zoe Draven, who is East Asian. they have not, I think her pronouns are she, her. She has not specifically identified herself, like what her identity is, but I know that she is East Asian. And then I also have JC Lee's book, because the library audio just came in for this, Booked on a Feeling. Oh, just kidding. I'm not reading that. That's a lie. I just looked at the back. I am definitely reading this one then. So.
And those author interviews you mentioned, those will be on your Instagram?
Yeah, they'll be Instagram Live and I'll save them. Sorry, I thought I did the research ahead of time on that other book, but it was just in the back of my mind and I won't be reading it anymore.
No worries. Well, we are glad that you figured it out and that we know where to find you and to find the author interviews. That sounds really fun. And I'm here for Sapphic Sundays. That sounds like the perfect way to end the week.
I do like a reel every Sunday with a book rec.
Okay.
And usually they're really obnoxious because I like to be loud.
I feel that the more obnoxious and chaotic, like give it to me. I'm so here for it. Like high energy. I'm like, we have our quiet time as readers with our little books by ourselves. Give me the chaos on the internet, please. I love it. All right, Nia, you want to go next?
Can you guys hear me okay? Cool. Okay. Well, I'm Nia. I'm the bi bookworm. I am reading for the prompt. It would be Rivka. Is that how you say it? Rivka? By Palestinian author Mohammed Al-Kurd. I've been on Instagram doing my reviews and things for about a year now. Actually, April 17th will be my 1-year anniversary. So, hooray. And I mainly just promote diverse reads, and gotta give props to Brittany. She's kind of the one that kind of gave me that aha moment, sparked everything for me, because she's also loud and I love her being loud. And, it was just such a radical and, I don't know, I think I would say brave is the correct term to use, because not very many people are comfortable speaking out and, just voicing their opinions like that. So thank you, Brittany. But yeah, I'm reading Rivka on Instagram. Love it here. Love my queer romance. So yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, is it working? Good. Okay. I'm reading with Reese on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter, everything basically, except YouTube, because I probably couldn't figure out YouTube. But anyway, for today, I'm going to be reading A Mind Spread Out on the Ground by Alicia Elliott. For I think it's prompt C, the book about colonization. I think Elliott is Tuscarora. I can't pronounce it. I'll put it in the chat. But it's a Six Nations of Grand River living in Brantford, Ontario. And what I usually read and review on, Instagram and TikTok is trans books. I'm doing another challenge as well, a year-long challenge, the Trans Reading Challenge 2024. So yeah, I'm really focusing on trans books, but I also really want to read more Indigenous books. So that's why I'm picking this one.
Awesome. If you have a link for that challenge, do you want to put it in the chat or just send it to me and I'll put it in the chat?
Sure, I'll grab the autograph one.
Cool. Awesome. I have to look into that. Thanks, Reese. And last but not least, Meg.
Hello. My name's Meg or Megan, whatever you're rocking with. My ad is Camp Half Bitch Books, pronouns she, her. I'm on TikTok and Instagram. Instagram, I kind of just post about books that I have read and liked recently. TikTok, I do a whole bunch of different stuff, and I read with my mom, who's somewhere in the house. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna read this arc that I got the other day and I'm really excited about. It's this Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. I'm obsessed with Haley Dennings. She's just like a big writer inspiration for me, and I think she's just like amazing and is an incredible writer, and just I like love her for like the like I think she posts a lot of like really great like ways to write and like scheduling and stuff. So anyways, found a lot of good resources through her. I think this was for the like read a book by the Black author challenge, but then also I realized it could technically be historical fiction by a BIPOC author because I think this is set in Harlem Renaissance, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, I think I checked all the boxes. Let me know if I missed one. But yeah, that's me. It's so great to meet everybody.
Yay. All right. I think most people know, but I'm Hannah. If you're here, I think you would know. I'm on every platform because I like to exhaust myself, but YouTube is my newest thing that I'm trying out. So it's an adventure over here, but I'm primarily on TikTok and Instagram. I also have a book club that's called the Moody Readers Book Club that's based around mood reads. And actually for this summer, we're going to do a highlight around the challenge as well. So one of the books that we pick this summer is going to have to match one of the prompts that month as well. Just trying to find new ways to keep making everyone find the challenge all year long. But I'm super excited. I love finding different types of mood reads. I read every genre. Like I'm like, give me some alien romance, some sapphic Sundays, some fantasy, like all of these, and like nonfiction. Like I will read anything. If someone tells me it's good, like that's all I need, you know? And I feel like, I don't know, I like to challenge myself a lot as a reader. So I think that's vastly important to try things outside your own experience. I grew up in a very, very like religious cult type experience, I would say. So my bubble was all Finnish white people growing up. So I desperately craved other stories. And I love now that I've grown up and been able to choose my own path to intentionally surround myself with people who are not in that bubble and find stories like that. So I don't know. I'm such a nerd. I like cry on every stream, you guys. I'm like such a sentimental softie, but I just get so hyped to find new people to connect with and to find cool challenges like this. I just won the challenge, like I mentioned last month. So I'm playing catch up because I didn't want to just start with April and to start there because I'm an overachiever, if you can't tell. So one of the books that I am hoping to read, this was for a February prompt that I've been saying all over, A Tempest of Tea, Hafsa Faisal. I actually got to meet Hafsa recently. They were in Tucson for the Tucson Festival of Books, and I picked up my copy of this book, and all of my friends are just like raving about it, and it sounds so cool. So this one actually kind of matches up with the historical fiction. I think it's definitely heavier on the fiction than the historical component, but I'm very excited about this one. But this one I also have on hand just to show for one of the April prompts, and this is a book by a BIPOC author about chronic illness as well. So this is more like short story memoir. I haven't read anything by this author, but I hear good things. So, whew, all right, I think that's it. We are a little bit over on time, but that's okay. We're getting to know each other. So what we're going to do now is everyone is going to mute and we're just going to read until the hour mark. So wherever you are in the world, on the hour mark is when we'll come back and we'll kind of chat about what we've been reading and get to know each other a little bit more. And we are doing sprints and getting to know each other for about 2 hours. So we've got a 2-hour window here today. But if anyone needs to pop off at any point, don't feel bad. Just like give us a wave and we'll wave back. And thank you for being here. All right, let's read some books. Also, I forgot to say in the chat, please share what you're reading because we want to know what you guys are reading too.
Also, guys, this is Remy. He wants to sit next to me, so if you see his little head.
Just some fun Remy and Brittany and Meg lore is that Remy's besties with my dog Boffy. So yeah.
And Remy's like very shy, like doesn't really like, I don't know. I feel like he gets really nervous around dogs, and Boffy was just like, "We will be friends," and Remy was like, "We will, we will."
All right, find a good stopping point and welcome back. All right, if you all want to start thinking of some books that you've been loving to recommend to the chat, I'm going to start sharing some of the comments of the chat and see what everyone's reading there. But I was thinking it would be fun to hear some of your favorite BIPOC authors and their books. It could be something you've read already for the challenge, or if something else comes to mind, that's fine with me too. But in the meantime, while you're thinking of those, I'm going to see what everybody's reading. Let's see here. We've got Petra reading A Holiday Cottage by the Sea, because apparently Petra really needs a vacation. I don't know what that book is, but it sounds adorable. I'm not sure if it's giving cozy mystery, but it's definitely giving cozy, and it sounds adorable. Vanessa had a very good point here. She said she'd love to join me the next time she does this. Vanessa is a wonderful booktuber. Anyone who would like to do this next round, this is something I would like to repeat. I mean, it's a year-long challenge, so hopefully I get to do this many, many more times. So if there's anyone watching that's interested, or watching this in the future that's interested, just DM me. I'm going to keep a little list so that I can ask people the next time I plan the next one. And Vanessa is currently in the middle of Smutella right now. I don't know what that is, but you had me at smut, so I am so down. And also, I've cracked myself up with my celebrity guest joke. Anytime there's like fur babies on sprints, I get so excited. I'm like, I just want a cat. I want a cat. I want to show my cat one day. One day. All right, so let's see, we've got a couple more books to share. Whitney's reading A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. I have not read that one yet, but I've seen it around a lot. That one got so much hype. Eden is reading Outdrawn by Deanna Gray for the chronic illness paid prompt for April. Very cool. I'm gonna look that one up. I haven't heard of Deanna Gray before. Or Deanna? Let's see. All right, and one more. Tully's Library is reading The Do's and Donuts of Love. Cute. I like everyone's like cute and cozy vibes today. Here for it. I started Tempest of Tea.
Here's Outdrawn by Deanna Gray, FYI.
Oh, you had it.
Little note. Yeah. This is so good. Her little note is peeking out here. But yeah, definitely check this one out.
Do you have like I don't know, like a quick little blurb of like what you can
so they're both graphic designers, and were like interested in each other in college. And it's like a work rivals to lovers situation. But there's like a lot of really beautiful character growth and development, and some hilarious like duck situations happening in the workplace pond.
Okay.
It's great. I love it.
You already had me at workplace, but now I'm intrigued. It's like ducks. That's cool. Let's see. There you go. Boom, boom. We all know where to find the interview. All right. You guys want to unmute? Anyone dying to go first? Share a book rec?
I just pulled some off my shelf. Yeah. My recommendation for May, also not me realizing I'm a whole month ahead with the API prompt. I was like, why does my book not align with anybody else's book? I was like, my prompt is not the same. Okay, so for next month, there's a teenage main character is the prompt. Lizelle Samberry is like one of my top tier favorite. Like all of these are 5-star. I know she I actually don't know what their pronouns are, so I'm going to use they them because I'm unsure. But Blood Like Magic and Blood Like Fate is like a futuristic there's like, I don't even know how to describe it. They are tethered to their home is where the base of their magic is. Our main character, there is a small romance. There's trans male representation. There's non-binary representation. There's sapphic representation. I absolutely love this. I read these in February. Yay! And I read this one last March, Delicious Monsters. So it's a dual timeline, but our main character is a teenager in the the past timeline, and it's a different main character in the present timeline. This is also a really great one. Actually, both of these are also great book recs for the books about colonization. Also, but Liesl Samberry, I cannot recommend enough.
And thankfully, we don't have to like write all of these down because it's on YouTube. So I can just go back and like rewind and get them all. I'm so excited. So I love this. I'm here for all the book recs. Who wants to go next? Anybody?
I can go. I never remember what I read, so I have my little storygraph thing pulled up. I just finished Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. Oh my God. I have never been so impressed and so grossed out simultaneously. The way the way he describes just like bones crunching, and there's a lot of vomit and there's a lot of things going on, creatures. So if you're a little squeamish about really intense descriptions, just be aware. But truly, that is a talented writer. Like I was really, that reorganized my brain chemistry. Truly incredible stuff. Oh, Tempest of Tea. Yeah, agree, Brittany. Tempest of Tea, amazing. Yeah. Just found family is just really gonna hit for me every time, especially when it's like it's also multi POV, which was cool. Because I don't think I've like really read more than 2 POVs since like Atlas 6 maybe. So that was really fun, and I just think all the characters are really lovable, one more than other. If anyone knows about Jin, my God, that man. And then what is some other recent ones? Ooh, Say You'll Be Mine by Nina Kumar. Very, very sweet. Fake dating turns into a real relationship, of course. But really sweet tropes, and I'm trying to remember, the list of tropes was literally on the package, but yeah, it was just one of those classic, I don't know, like I needed kind of a book that was gonna just give me a break, but also just make me believe in love again, and that was really sweet and wholesome. So yeah, I would say those are my 3 recent faves.
Can I pop one more in really quickly?
Of course.
I died and came back to life when I read The Last Quantities. It was a middle grade book and it took me out. I was just sobbing in my stories. So I don't know if there's a middle grade prompt, but it also can hit for a Latine or Indigenous. But it's futuristic. It starts in 2044, and then 400 years later, the Earth was hit by Halley's Comet, and they're putting all the scientists on a ship and their families and sending them to a new planet. And for those elder millennials and Gen Xers, not Gen Zers, there was a TV show in the early 90s called Earth 2, and it's giving Earth 2 vibes. But when our main character wakes up, everyone that she got on the ship with and she loves and knows is dead. And everyone who else is on the ship, their memory has been erased from Earth, because while they were on the ship, the collective, I think that's what they're called, comes on and erases everybody's memory because they want to erase the wrongs of Earth. But she just wants to be a storyteller, and she wants to carry on her family's legacy and her family's story. I'm like, I have chills just thinking about how good this book was. I cannot recommend it enough. It's possibly my best read of the year so far, and I never thought a middle grade book would be my top read of the year so far.
Just goes to show good writing is good writing. It doesn't matter. You can connect with it. That's so cool. All right, let's go next. I don't want to like call on people. It feels weird to like call on people. So just like unmute at
I'll
any
go
point.
next.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say I love middle grade. It is the best. And also, I think it's so hard for me to choose a favorite. Like, how dare you ask me this question? I feel like I'm recommending so many books all the time that I'm like, wait, what even is my favorite? I have no idea. It's existential angst. But I really enjoyed Kindling by Tracy Chee. It also is multi-point of view, and it's like historical fantasy. It's about like this group of 7 kids, basically, and it's about the aftermath of war. Like a lot of them are soldiers from a past war, and it's a 7 samurai retelling. It's based on like a movie. That's also based on another movie. And now I want a movie of this because it's really good. So it's like a gender bent reimagining of the original story. So I really, really enjoyed that. And I recently posted like a roundup. Yes, I convinced Reese to read it, and I'm so happy. And I recently posted a roundup of like all my romance faves. So that is my way of saying there's 56 books for people to check out because I cannot choose one favorite. It's impossible, physically impossible.
Nia, Margarita, anyone?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
And what was the question? It was just like what your favorite read was so far this year?
Yeah, that works. I mean, I'm just
Okay.
in general, I figured this kind of goes in line with like the challenge itself is just like highlighting and amplifying BIPOC authors.
Okay.
So I figured just sharing some of our own, whether they fit the prompts or not, but just
Yeah.
have
Well,
at it.
this one specifically is I just did a review on it on my page. It was "This Is Why They Hate Us" by Erin Aceves. I think I'm saying that right. Queer, bisexual teenager, messy, young, making bad decisions, all the good things. I was obsessed with that book. I want to read it again actually because I enjoyed it so much. But also, I don't read, I don't know of a lot of books with bisexual representation that hit it the way that book did. Being a Hispanic person myself, it was just so relatable, and all the bad choices that they made. Oh my gosh, it was just a good time overall. I loved it. So I would say that was probably one of my favorite books, maybe like top 5 books of the year so far. Loved it. Yeah. And it was YA, and I don't really read too much YA, but yeah, actually, that's not true. Why did I say that? I do read YA, but yeah, it was good.
I like
It
that
was
you're
good
just
stuff.
like messy yet relatable. I was like, Nia.
So messy. Yes.
Same, no, I feel that. That sounds really good.
Yes, it was awesome. Okay, I'm done speaking.
Anyone
Also,
else?
I'm on vacation, and I don't know if you guys can hear like little kids just running in the background. All my nieces are just losing their minds right now. So, okay.
All good.
I can go next. I have 3 books here. They're all by the same author, a recent favorite author, and that is Gabe Cole Novoa. And all of these work for the teenage main character prompt for next month. Most certainly, is probably my second favorite book of the year so far, and that's saying a lot because I've read like 140 something now, and it just sticks out. Same with these 2, but this one is on top. The Wicked Bargain. This is another favorite, and then the Diablo's Curse is another absolute favorite. These 3 also work for my trans reading challenge. This one has a trans boy main character, and these 2 have non-binary main characters. So I will forever recommend all 3 of these books, and I can't wait to read more from Gabe Cole Novoa whenever he does release more, just because these 3 are favorites of all time.
Are they standalones, Reese? Or are they like in a series or?
This one is a retelling, and then these 2 are It is technically a duology because this one, the Diablo's Curse, happens after the Wicked Bargain. So I highly recommend reading this first and then this. It doesn't say on Storygraph or Goodreads that these two are connected, but they are. They are definitely connected. So you'd be really confused if you didn't read the Wicked Bargain.
Noted. The covers are really cool too. I keep like trying to like peek at them a little bit.
They
It
are.
looks
And
good.
this one, did I say it's a Pride and Prejudice retelling? I don't think I did,
figured
but it is.
but okay.
It is. It's Pride and Prejudice.
Awesome. I am so excited. As if we need our TBRs to get longer. Like we do, but we don't, you know? Like I'm gonna like my Libby holds are gonna be out of hand after this stream.
Also, Reese, I cannot join the chat for some reason. It just says like there's an error. But is the spirit bears its teeth in the same like universe as how it follows, or is it different? Okay.
It's different.
Okay. So it's just is it technically a series or is it separate?
It's separate.
Okay, got it. Because I saw that the cover art was so similar because it's so recognizable.
It's very similar. Yeah.
Okay, but different, like completely new story.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. I can't wait to read. Thank you.
I just realized I have Hell Follows with Us on my bookshelf, so I just like pulled it out a little bit. I have everything turned around that I haven't read yet, so I just pulled it out a little bit further to move it up.
Is that your like strategy? Just like make them so you can peek at it a little bit?
Well, I turned everything like page side out at the beginning of the year to get me to read my actual bookshelf. And so I've been turning them around at the end of the month, and that one is not, I haven't read that one yet, but I just like pulled it out a little bit farther so that I'll remember.
Smart. I like it. It's a good system. I think it would drive me crazy, but I like the idea of it, and it does look cool visually. I was wondering what the system was like peeking behind you.
These are my physical TBR, all these books. But these are cookbooks. Ignore this. But these are all the physical books that I have to read eventually.
I still have like 70 to read. If I took them off my shelf would be bare.
I suppose I could go too. It's like I guess I don't need to just ask the questions. I can go too. I finished 2 books so far for the challenge. I went, like I said, I started a little bit late, but one of the first ones I finished was the March Prompt B. It's a book by an Indigenous author, and I read Firekeeper's Daughter. I believe it's Angeline Bowley. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I need to look it up. But I listened to
Angeline Bowley. Yeah.
Angeline Bowley. Perfect. Thank you.
That's my favorite book of all time. That and Warrior Girl.
Really?
Yes, my favorite book.
I'm just scrolling.
There'll eventually be a miniseries because the Obamas bought the rights to them. So
really, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
Insider knowledge. This is why you need to have other readers on the stream. No, I actually did love it. I posted it that I was going to be starting it on my Instagram story, and I'm so glad I did that because so many people went in my DMs to be like, hey, you need to do the audiobook, because I have a physical copy like somewhere up there. And so I would have just read it, but then I made sure to wait until my library hold came in for it. And it was so good on the audio. Like the narrator is so good. I am a blonde white Finnish woman, so I don't really know anything about like Ojibwe pronunciations and like what those words mean. So being able to actually listen to it was like a whole other experience that added so much to the story. I had no idea really what it was about going into the book, but that worked out really well for me. Like I wasn't expecting there to be like a hockey component, which was really interesting. I grew up in Minnesota, so like I had a lot of hockey knowledge, so that was fun. But I felt like I learned so much, but like got my heart broken the entire book. It was like really rough, but it was really beautiful. So I really, really, I don't want to say enjoyed, but I appreciated that book. It's really, really well written and really beautiful. And then the other book I finished, I think was in February. Let me see 1 second. I finished a January Prompt. So it's a book with a BIPOC author with a fat main character, and it's Savvy Sheldon Feels Good as Hell by Taj McCoy. And this book is so cute. It's a contemporary romance. And I'm going to just tell you what happens in the first chapter because it's wild. So she is in a relationship for like 6-7 years with the same man. And he dumps her because he's like, you've let yourself go. And so in the first chapter, I'm just seething. I'm raging. Like I'm in a long-term relationship. So I'm imagining like if he dumped me and said these words to me, I'm like mad at him for the rest of the day. I was just, that like nothing sets you off and gets you rooting for a main character like that. So like the rest of the book, you just want to hold her and like be there for her and be her friend. And she goes on this kind of like self-love journey, I guess you would say, where she's like, at first she's a little toxic about it, where she's like, I need to get my revenge bod, like blah, 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 blah. But then her friends step in, and I've never loved side characters this much in like a very long time because they were like, shut up. Like, you don't need a revenge body. You needed to dump that guy's ass. Like, he's terrible. And so I just like love when the friends are so real like that and they're actual like real characters. And I don't know, they played tennis and I've been playing tennis lately. So there was just like a lot of little things about it that I really, really loved. And it was super cute. And I don't know, I'm still seething about that first chapter, but like I haven't had like a contemporary romance. Like I read a lot of them, but I haven't had one like get me like that excited out of the gate in a while. So super cute. Highly recommend. Also, I love this. We'll read Angeline's grocery list. So lovely. I was like, if a grocery list could make me cry, that author might be able to be the one to do it. Any more recommendations?
I think I'm the only one left. I took out so many books that are on the other side of the bed that you can't see. So I have so many books there. But I want to start with my favorite author, and I'm gonna be a basic bitch. I'm sorry. It's Talia Higbert. And my favorites are Get a Life, Career Brown, and A Girl Like Her, especially this one because the main character is autistic and she feels very relatable. And another book that I love is Song of Silver, Flame Like Night, which was my favorite book of last year. And I will be reading the sequel next month because I think it's the Asian Prompt is next month. And I just want to share similar books, kind of, if anyone who reads this wants something similar. Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, which also fits the translated book prompt if someone still hasn't read a book for that prompt. And it has similar similar vibes for the fact that they have the questions around the fact that they're using dark magic for good, if that is possible or not. But also another book that I think is similar is the Shadow of the Fox trilogy. So, Shadow of the Fox. This one is Japanese mythology, while the other two are Chinese mythology. But this one also has similar dynamics with the main characters and also like demons and things like that. And I think that these three series are really good together. That's it, I think.
The ones with the pink and the blue covers that you said you're going to be reading the second one, is it a duology or like a series that's still going?
It's a duology.
Okay.
So it's complete.
Okay. The covers are super cool and they look like good together. Like I like that they're so different in the color schemes, but they look beautiful. Super cool.
I know this is for December's prompt, but I've been in like a mystery mood lately, and December's prompt is a cozy mystery, and I have to shout out like two of my favorite ones. I love Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. It's just so funny. Like, if there was a way I could be friends with one author, I would love to be friends with Jessie because she just seems hilarious. I just love her. And it has found family, and Vera Wong is a main character that's I think like in her 60s, and like admittedly I don't read books with like main characters that were in their 60s a lot, so it kind of like was a call in to me of like, okay, I need to make sure I'm reading across like age groups too. And Another one is which one? I think Arsenic and Adobo is the first book by Mia P. Manansala, and she's Filipino American. And the first mystery is that someone dies at her family restaurant, and that's obviously not good for business. And the cops like don't want to, like, they're not, they obviously think that it looks really bad for her family. So she starts investigating into it, and she's like, I have to do this for my family business, like, so that we don't go under. And it is so much fun. She has a dog named Longanisa, and that's a Filipino food, and she nicknamed him Nisa, and I just think it's adorable. So those are like two cozy little mysteries. And I love the audiobooks of both of those. So if people haven't read that yet and are interested, I highly recommend the audio of both of those. They're just fun. They're a goofy time. If you're like doing chores around the house, that's like what I do, is listen to a cozy little mystery.
I'm actually going to be starting Jesse Q Sutanto's books like this week. Like they're like on my like next. I did like a stream with an author for my book club, and instead of just being like, "Hey, give me a book rec" at the end, I said, "Give me a book rec, and whatever you rec, like I have to read it in the next week." And that was one of the books that she had recommended. And she's going to be at the LA Times Festival of Books for anyone that's going there. I'm going to road trip out for it. And I was like, all right, I have a goal now. I need to finish these books by the festival. So I'm super excited. I don't think I've really read a lot of cozy mystery. So I think like that's a genre that's very unexplored, at least by me.
And she has like a lot of different books too. Like she has like young adult rom-coms. She has kind of like adult thriller-ish or like young adult thriller books. Like it's kind of cool. Every time I read her, and she has a middle grade fantasy series as well. And I read it, I'm like, what can't you do? It's so good.
So cool.
If you're going to the LA Times Book Fest, you should check out Rebecca Weatherspoon. Have you read any Rebecca Weatherspoon books?
They're my
like favorite romance author. I will go as far as to say I have a little crush on them. They're just like an incredible human. And I listened to them on a panel at Y'all Fest last year, just talking about banned books, and it was phenomenal. They write really, really, really inclusive romance. And my favorite one is one of the Cowboys of California series. I just love the way that they incorporate like mental health. There's characters with vitiligo. There's tall, like over 6 feet tall female main characters. There's non-binary characters. They write sapphic romances. They're just like incredibly inclusive, and they will be at the LA Times Book Fest, and they will have book art. And I was like, who do I know that's going there? But I can get them to send me some book art. And they
have like a book you'd rec that I would start with?
Yes, let me get it. They're on my bottom shelf.
I'm going to look at this list and be overwhelmed. So give me a starting point.
I only own 6, but I recommend starting with, I don't even know what this series is called. But the first one in the series is Rafe is first. A buff male nanny, Rafe. And then Zenny, which is my favorite one of the series, is A Marriage of Inconvenience. And then Megan. And Megan makes an appearance in like 7 or I think 9 of their books, because Megan is also in Haven, and Megan is Shepard's ex-girlfriend in Haven. So Megan makes an appearance in a lot. And like they write polyamorous relationships, and and everything, and they hate the third act breakup. So, and then when they were like talking about this, they were like, it's just really pornographic. All 6 of these books are everything Rebecca writes is pretty smutty, but like the stories are just so entertaining. Like I just love them. And the reason why Jessie Pleasant is my favorite is because Rebecca uses the anger iceberg. And as a therapist, I'm like all about the anger iceberg. And I was like DMing with them, and they were like, nobody's ever like pointed that, like really actually acknowledged that. And I'm like, yeah. Like he shows everyone he's angry, but really he's embarrassed. He is like a little jealous. He's really like afraid, doesn't want people to know. And I love the trope of like, he's very inexperienced and she's very experienced. So usually it's the other way around. I just love it. That one is A Thorn in the Saddle, I think is book 3 in that series. Anyway, Rebecca Weatherspoon, cannot wreck enough. Love them.
Which is
Love
the
their
one
books.
with the tall 6-foot woman that you mentioned?
That's A Thorn in the Saddle.
Okay.
Yes, because Jessie is like 6'7", and I think Lily Grace is also the one with vitiligo, right? I think that she's also the one with yes, because the first one is Amnesia. The second one is the plus size with the Oscar. And the third one is she's super tall. She's like 6'2". She has vitiligo. They're like childhood friends. And like you have to read them in order though to get his full story arc of like seeing how vulnerable he really is.
Interested. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really like how during your description you were like, there's a lot of representation, like people over 6 feet, and all of our faces are just like, and then you're like, but she's, and we were like, oh
yes.
we're like, that makes more sense. Okay. You don't see that very often.
I have a book list coming out of tall FMCs, a rec list of tall FMCs. So
they're not all small and petite. That's not realistic. Please. Okay. Just everyone is getting nicknamed Peanut left and right. I can't handle it. Anyways, that's beef for another day. All right. If you guys think of any more that you're dying, that you were like, oh my gosh, I forgot to say a favorite, just pop it in the chat. But let's do one more sprint before we call it a day. We are going to read until the hour mark yet again. All right. So I think, oh, that's it. I never know how to, I'm like, it's like ending a phone call. You're like, how okay, I'm just going to go to mute. Share what you're reading in the chat. Recommend your favorite.
Oh my God. Wait,
yes.
I just thought of one.
Okay.
That's really obvious. This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan was phenom. Something about any book where like a main character starts off where their life just gets imploded in the worst way. Like everything that was important to them gets removed. And then it's about them like kind of figuring their shit out. It's very therapeutic for me. Yes, exactly, Brittany, exactly. That one I read, I think maybe in January, so I forgot. But yeah, it was really, really good. That series too is just I want 700 of those books in that series. So yeah, forgot. But Kennedy Ryan, The Blueprint, agree.
Yes, so good. I just ordered that book, so I haven't read it yet, but it's on its way. All right. I will see you guys on the hour mark, and happy reading. All right, we did it. Good job, guys. I got a pretty good chunk into A Tempest of Tea. So now I'm like at that point where like you actually like really want to keep reading, but I'm hungry. It's like I will be back to read more later. This is so good so far. How did everyone else do? Enjoying your book so far?
I really like my book. I actually finished it. Sorry, it's my talking straight. Head Above Water by Shad Al-Shamari. For the prompt of chronic illness. She has multiple sclerosis. It's kind of like vignettes and just reflections on illness from her life. I highly recommend it. She's a Kuwaiti Palestinian writer. It's just like very conversational, but so hard hitting. Like, I don't know, I put so many tabs, like every other page, I feel like. I will definitely be writing like an individual review about this because it was so impactful and so powerful, just reflecting on like disabled bodies and how they move and like have to move around in the world. So I highly recommend it. And then I moved on to like another nonfic read. I guess it's my nonfiction Saturday, but it's a book that I got from Pluto Press. And I do want to say for our book about colonization, Haymarket Books, Verso Books, and Pluto Press, they all often offer like free ebook sometimes to folks. So definitely check out like their reading list. They have so many books about colonization that would fit the prompt. If folks are looking for paperback, they usually sell that along with the ebook copy, which I really love because I sometimes like it's easier for me to read an ebook. So if people are still looking for a book about colonization and like you want to continue reading stuff about that all year long, I think those are really three really good publishing houses to look into. So yeah.
Cool. Anyone else want to give a little reading update?
I know this is a romance, but like one of the things that I always talk about with my clients is that chasing this idea of being happy is not attainable because happiness is a circumstantial emotion. And he says to her, what do you want? And she says, I want to be happy. Doesn't everyone? And he says, happiness is an emotion, just like anger, lust, sadness, loneliness. It comes and it goes. It's not a constant state. So like, I really appreciated seeing that in a book because one of the things I talk about with my clients, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a trauma therapist, is seeking contentment and seeking neutrality because like our emotions are based off of circumstances. And so I was like, I always talk about how like I'm not happy all the time. I'm happy when things make me laugh and when I'm doing whatever. So like I appreciated that reminder in this book. Also, I read some spicy times. So
on live, we got to watch.
Always at a family event, in a restaurant, at a coffee shop, in the car on the way to work. Always.
I feel like there's some sort of like pun there on like the tip of my tongue of being like a seasoned spice reader where like you just have no reaction at this point.
My reaction is always, I forgot to say this at the beginning, is I always look a little angry when I'm concentrating, which is also a thing I have to remind my clients. Listen, when we're talking and I'm listening to you, ignore this. Listen to the tone of my voice.
It's funny. A little bit.
Professors in college would literally stop and be like, are you all right? Because I would be like looking at them and they were like, do you need a minute? And I'm like, no, I'm listening. Keep going. So I understand.
Any more reading updates, things to share before we head out?
I guess I can talk about, I don't know if I like gave a little intro of this at all, but it's sapphic vampires in 1920s Harlem Renaissance. So cool. So cool. And it's enemies to lovers, so we're very much still and the enemies are really hating each other still. But I just finished on this line that said, I still feel you under all my scars, and I was like, ugh.
That's A Tempest of Tea?
No. This is This Ravenous Fate.
Oh, I thought you were reading. Who was reading A Tempest of Tea? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But Meg read it, right?
No.
Meg
Yes,
was talking
yes.
about it.
But you
so
were
you're-
talking about
you
it.
are
Okay.
right.
So this
Yes,
Ravenous
yes.
Fate, Sapphic. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that
Yeah.
one. Sapphic vampires.
Yeah. Really, really cool. Also, just recommend following Haley on TikTok. She just boosts her book a lot, and it'll convince you to read it. But she's also very funny and cool.
What's her last name?
Haley Dennings.
Okay.
Also, just the cover is really, really amazing. But yeah, highly recommend. Loving it so far, and there's a lot of really cool setups, but it's basically like one is a vampire and one is the hunter, and then they're forced to team up and work together. So loving it so far.
Right? When does it come out?
August 6th, 2024.
Hence the reason why the library does not have it. Just looked it up.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I literally pulled it up. I was like, notify me, thank you. That's funny. Done. All right. Any more updates?
I know we mentioned it in the beginning, but if anyone is like unaware of the SMP boycott right now, you can go to Readers for Accountability Instagram page for more info. I also have it linked in like my link tree. Their like website, they have like blog posts and everything, just kind of like more context. I know that like sometimes it feels kind of overwhelming if you're like very like new, like maybe this is your first ever time on Bookstagram. I don't know like who's watching, and like you don't have the context for stuff. It's helpful to like I don't want to like turn people away. I'd rather like people have as much information and like be informed readers as they can be. So that's linked in my bio if y'all are interested and want to learn more about it. And then I do want to bring attention to like there's going to be for I'm participating in like the Strike for Gaza on Monday, so I'll be posting more like Palestinian reads and like more books about colonization and stuff like that. So if you have any questions or whatever, like I'm not an expert, but I'm happy to dialogue with folks about it. So yeah, I just wanted to like take time to like name that and like spread awareness to it, like using the privilege that we have and being safe in our homes and on this stream. So yeah.
Britt, I just wanted to ask you if you're interested in doing like a read along of one of Etof's books. I am social with her and she lives here in my town and I go to her book club. And she has talked about like I know she zooms into other people's, but I am certain we could get her I just was at her coffee shop this morning, actually having coffee. So I'm certain we could get her to join if you were interested in doing like a read along of Evil Eye or A Woman Is No Man. I can never remember.
A Woman Is, yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, I'd love that. That'd be so neat. So yeah,
we'll talk later, but yeah.
Does she run a coffee shop as well?
Yeah.
So
I have so many questions.
Yeah. So she lives in my town. She owns a coffee shop called Books and Beans. And then her and her husband also co-own like a pizza place and a restaurant. But since the middle of October last year, all her proceeds have been going to like 100% of her proceeds for the coffee shop were going to like Palestinian nonprofits. And she's like selling, people are donating books. She's selling the books in the at the coffee shop to make money. So yeah, I bought like 4 copies of her books and had her sign them and gave them away. And so she's just the sweetest, most wonderful human. And
I know that her books are not romance, but like I'm thinking of like coffee shops and pizza places. My first thought was, wow, this is like, those are such perfect places for meet cutes.
And a burger job and an artisanal burger place too.
An artisanal burger. Oh my gosh. I feel like they're waiting to be written. Megan, get on it. Just kidding. Megan is a writer, for context, aspiring writer.
But anyway, just let me know. We'll talk later, but that's a total option.
I will join you guys in supporting you and reading with you in whatever you do. Plan your things, and then I will join in the fun once you've planned it, because I love her. She's amazing. And now I need to road trip out there. All right. Well, if we don't have any other reading updates, I guess we can give a final reminder. All of those links are down in the video description for everything that you should be needing. And that's where you can follow all of these. Me, I'm like,
Buffy!
oh my gosh. The like cutest aggression.
This is my firstborn child. I grew him in the womb. This is the resemblance.
So handsome. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
So cute. It's like I literally like lose my train of thought. I just like want to hug it. Oh,
I'm so sorry. That's
No,
like
you're fine.
so rude of me. I'm so sorry.
The cutest interruption I've literally ever had. I'm so here for it. But yes, please go follow these creators. Not only do they give wonderful recommendations on demand on stream, they do it all the time on their platforms. So they're wonderful people to follow and super cool, just lovely humans. So go support them and support this challenge and keep posting about it. Tag the host when you post about it, use the hashtag, and also tag the authors. Like that's a huge part of this challenge is supporting these authors. So of course, only if you're saying lovely things or like adding them to the TBR. If you're writing like a harsh review, don't be tagging them in that. We should know better by now. But just in case. But yes, please support these authors and these hosts for all of the hard work they put into this challenge. They're not getting paid for this. Like this is something that they've been doing because it matters and because it's important. So please do what you can also to amplify and support it on your channels. And I think that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and for, being my friends for the day. And you're not rid of me yet. I'm planning more of these. So I will be sliding your DMs.
I just want to say one thing. Like subscribing to the newsletters would be nice because we always send updates when we see something like wrong in the list in the Storygraph challenge, but also to check the posts that we already made on Substack because we have like a general recap of some authors that were put in some prompts that didn't fit. So we specify which is good and what is not. So it should be something that people check out.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, I think that is it. I will be in touch with all of you and hopefully planning more of this soon. We will be following all of you on your channels for the author interviews and all of these good things you all have planned. Keep me in mind if you need anything from me. You know where to find me. And everyone have a great weekend and happy reading and continue reading BIPOC books. Bye, friends.
Bye, guys.